next talk is going to be by Dr. T. Ganesan ji. He is the research associate at French Institute of Pondicherry, and in INDICA we have a Center for Śaiva Studies. He heads it. He is the director, he is the head of Center for Śaiva Studies, which is part of INDICA. And he has a very long experience at the French Institute of Pondicherry, and during his career as research associate at French Institute of Pondicherry, he brought out many wonderful manuscripts. You have seen how he brought out recently also another manuscript called Nataraja Paddhati. So with all his long experience in Shaivism studies and his passionate dedication for Shaiva studies, he is going to present today a talk on Rathotsava and Processions, some informations from Śaiva Āgama-s.
Thank you. Pranams to all audience, all the audience and scholars. In this one-day symposium, I have selected the topic as Rathotsava and the Processions. The information that we get from the Śaiva Āgama-s. It is a very extensive information from the Agama-s. We have many informations on this important topic. Many of the papers today covered the actual celebration of the utsava in the Shiva temples, especially the previous one, the Thiruvarur temple, and before that Mailai temple, Kapaleshwara temple, with visuals. But my paper will be mostly fully on the scriptural background, the theory, the background, the scriptural basis for such grand festivals. So the Agamas are the basic scriptures that give every minute details about the everything related to temple, the major portion of the rituals. And one of the important rituals in the temple is the utsava. And it will be, many people may not know that there is a nityotsava prescribed in the Agama-s, Śaiva Āgama-s, which is a daily festival. In a miniature scale, it is celebrated. It is a part of daily worship. Some Agamas prescribe it to be conducted both morning and evening, but at least once it is celebrated, it should be celebrated at the morning worship. So that is called a nityotsava, where there is actually the procession of the separate image bearer for the nityotsava, along with the music, and also, if possible, the dance and the bali of Anna Bali. Anna along with the flower is offered to the Dikpalas around that habit around the main temple. So taken around the temple prakara with the music and the mantra chanting. So the utsava is such an integral part of temple worship. And there are hundreds of such special occasions when there is some sort of festivities in the Shiva temple. Beginning from a single day festival, ekāhotsava, there are festivals conducted for 17 days or sometimes 21 days. And we have the each Agama, and I have selected 3 major Agamas, but there are also others. For want of time, it is a long individual separate topic where we can cull out the information from spread out in the many of the Agamas, of which only a few are published and major remain in the major part of the Agamas remain as manuscripts to be published. And I have selected some 3 major Agamas, the Sukshma Agama, Deepta Agama, and the Yogaja Agama, of which Sukshma Agama and Deepta Agama have been published. I was one of the editors for the Sukshma Agama in 3 volumes, and the Yogaja Agama is yet to be published. And each one of these texts give different informations of the details about the utsava, different utsavas, different types, different days, and each utsava, according to the number of days, is named, given a particular name, which is very much related to the number. For example, 3, 5, etc. The separate names are there. And Rathotsava is one of the major part of this mahotsava, the grand festival. So there are other details, the preliminary details, because Rathotsava is not celebrated on the first days. It is mostly on the 7th day of the 10-day festival. Nowadays, as a standard one, majority of the Shiva temples in Tamil Nadu, they follow the system of celebrating the Mahotsava for 10 days. That is 9 days with all processions and bali offerings, etc. And procession on both morning and even the evening. On the 10th day, it is called nityotsava, which is also known as Avabhrita, modeled on the Yaga, Shrauta Yaga. But there are in the Agama-s, we find the 11, 13, 15, 17, up to 21 days festivals are celebrated. And even up to a few years back, I was told that the Chidambaram temple, the 21 days festival was celebrated. And another one, if I remember correct, it was the Thiruvannamalai temple. But 21 days were celebrated, but now it has changed. Now, the preliminaries of the utsava are in fact, I can say that what are the basic fundamental rituals that form part of the mahotsava in a Shiva temple, as described in the Agama-s, is just to give you a bird's eye view of this, because it is better to know how the Agama-s present the utsava and treat in detail. The major parts of the grand festival in the Shiva temple are elaborate worship of Vrishabha, called Vrishayaga. These are major points. But before that, there are, of course, the preliminary rituals such as Ankurarpana and all those things which are basic for all rituals. That is sowing the seed with everything, for which there is the special ritual mantra, and the different seeds, they are measured, soaked in milk mixed with water, and for so many days, and with mantra, just as Ankurarpana is done for all the Smartha rituals. The same is done in the Shiva temple also. So they are all, I'm not going into that. Major part is Vrishayaga, then worship of the flag, that is the Dvaja, that is, which is a long white cloth on which the picture of the Vrishabha, which is the Vahana of Shiva, in sitting posture is drawn, for which elaborate details are given in the Agama-s. That is how to draw the measures, the colors, different parts of the Vrishabha's body, all are given. Then after worshipping that the Dvaja, the worship of the flag post, that is Dvaja Danda, that is Dvaja Stambha, which we find in all major Shiva temples. The Dvaja Danda is worshipped. Then hoisting the flag on top of the Dvaja Danda, that is Dvaja Arohana. So that marks the beginning of the festival, that is Dvaja Arohana. The Vrishabha Dvaja is now hoisted. So all people around, they all come to know that the festival is going to be celebrated in the Shiva temple. And yes, then worshipping the huge kettle drum, that is Bheri, kept in the temple, and striking it, Bheri Tadana. These are all ritually done by the chief priest. First, he strikes it with the stick 3 times and reciting the mantra. So no ritual, no rite is whether simple or bigger one. It goes without any mantra recitation. And then by the drum player, Vadaka, by which the commencement of the grand festival is announced for all persons, in fact, even to the gods. as well as to the general public. There are many rites and worships that form part of these grand rituals. These the Vrishayaga, Dvajadanda Puja, and Beri Tadana, and Dvaja Arohana, etc. All there are inner minor rituals. With also in the ritual where there is a worship as well as the Agni Karya, the fire worship is done for all rituals. Then on all days during the mahotsava, both in the morning and evening, there is Bali offering, which is one of the important part of the grand mahotsava. So Bali offering to the Lokapalas, which is the nityotsava Bali is performed daily in a very simple and short period. But the Bali offering during the mahotsava is done in a large scale with a elaborate paraphernalia and the Bali bearer or the Astra Deva, that is the Trishula, is taken, the main one with decorated, and the priest, and naturally all these dance and music, they are all part and parcel of the ritual. So that is the very important thing to note. And the Bali offering to the Lokapalas, beginning from Indra in the east, which is accompanied by a grand procession, and the Trishula is decorated. That is Trishula in the form of, it is also Astra Devata, and around the temple with all paraphernalia such as flags and dvaja, the made of cloth, music and dance. These are all also in the part of the Bali offering twice a day. This Bali, this procession is also performed during the installation, pratishtha, and other rituals such as Jirnodhara and other rituals, where there is always the procession around the village. That is called Grama Pradakshina, where the deity to be installed or is taken around the temple. And whenever there is a procession, it is always accompanied by mantra recitation, by which that is Vedic recitation, and the music and dance. Music and both vocal music as well as instrumental music. So these are all the form part of the procession in always in the temple or in the grama as part of the temple rituals. Now these are the major points in the rituals that form part of the mahotsava. And then there is the Agama, coming to the Agama, which is it prescribes Shuddha Nritta Samayuktam, Gita Vadya Samayutam, Mantra Patha Samyuktam, Swasti Vacha Samayutam. Then, so these are the during the procession, there is a Shuddha Nritta and a Vadya, Gita, etc. Mantra Patha, that is Veda Patha. Then, what are the various decorations? Vitana Dvaja Samayuktam, Chhatra Chamara Samyutam, Danda Nritta Samayuktam, Yashti Nritta Samanvitam. So even here, the Agamas give minute details and so many types of dances. Danda Nritta, which and Yashti Nritta. Many of these Nritta and other details are now we do not find it. They do not anymore celebrated, and it is also doubtful whether our modern generation, especially the musicians and others, they know about these details, because it is a era, these Agamas of the era, very ancient period. So at that time, so such different types of nrittas were prevalent, which were shown, played during the temple rituals and part of mahotsava. Then there is always the decorative pieces taken around as part of the procession. That is Pincha Chamara Samyuktam, Shveta Chamara Samyutam, that is from the peacock feather, Pincha Chamara, and another white Chamara. Then Deepas, various types of Deepas, and Yashti Deepa, the long danda, the deepa is on the top. So like that, then pushpa vrishti, as the people always throw flowers all continuously on both sides during the procession. Then we have this dola nirta samayuktam. In this way, even this type of processions, if possible, if the temple has means, they can in fact provide these type of nritta and dance, etc. for the nityotsava also. So these naturally they all form part of the mahotsava, definitely. And then the decorated deity or is taken around the temple the 3 times. That is the inner prakara. Inner pratamam pradakshinam kuryat antarhare visheshatah. Antarhara is the inner prakara, first one, that immediately after the main garbhagriha. Then dvitiyam pradakshinam kuryat madhyahare. So the second prakara. Then gopure vadyahine pradakshina. So beyond the outside the main gopura, again there is a pradakshina, during which time there is no vadya and no bali, just a procession in completely a silent procession, we can say. Then antarhare punargatva pradakshina mathacharya. So after completing the third pradakshina around the temple outside the gopura, then naturally the procession deity comes inside and makes one more round, then enters the inside the temple. Then during these 3 processions of the antarhara, madhyahara and outside, there are different talas prescribed. The yoga jagama, pratamam pradakshinam kuryat mangani talam. Even there are, we come across different types of tala, which is almost not known nowadays. So mangani tala. And of course, there are some, since the Yoga Jagama, as I have mentioned, not yet published, I am taking it from the manuscript. So, of course, there are many copy errors and of the copies, and we have to edit it. When we edit it, we have to compare it, collate it with the other manuscripts and give the correct reading. So, parivaranam dvitiyantu pradakshana mathacharet, then vrishasya vrishatalantu. So when it comes to the Vrishabha, so there is a Vrishatala. So when the procession approaches the Vrishabha, then Matrunam Chandavadyancha Vighineshasya Tankari. So at each point, each stage, when the procession passes through those shrines, that is Sannidhis, Matruna, that is the Saptamatas. So many Shiva temples, especially during later Pallava and early Chola period, we have the Saptamathas installed in the Shiva temple. And Saptamata worship is a very ancient one. And so during when the procession comes to the Matrunam, though when they comes to the Saptamata's shrine, there is Chandavadya, and when it comes to Vignesha Tankari, then and Varune Charchaputa, another Tala, Jeshtayam Punni Talakam, I'm not sure what is the like that. Then Gopure Vadya Nirghoshaihi Shankha Ghosha Samanvitam. So when the procession approaches the Gopura, there is all the Vadyas, then along with the Kong, Shankha Ghosha. And along with these various talas, we have the ragas also. Gandhara Dvadadeshetu, Agneyam Kaushikam, Dakshine Kamarashaiva, Nairityam Takkaragakam, Kolli Paschima Deshetu, Vayavyam Dripasankaram, Some Takkeshirityuktam, Ramagiri Isha Gochare, Balipithe Indakinchaiva, Talam Gita Samayutam. Then like that it goes. So at different places there are different ragas, and some of them are even Kolli, Takeshi, or the Tamil, ancient Tamil music, it is called Pan, and fortunately we have the Tevaram hymns set to many of these raga, that is Pants, Kolli, Takeshi, Kamaram, etc. In this way, this we find the Tala, Nritya, etc. during the procession. Then different forms of Shiva, that is Umaskandeshwara, which is in other words, that is Somaskanda. Umaskandeshwara is the major processional deity nowadays in most of the Shiva temples. So there are also other forms of Shiva. Then there is one day is reserved for Bhikshatanotsava, where a Bhikshatana image is taken round. Then this Umaskandeshwara can be kept in the ratha. Ratheva Shibikevapi Stapayet. Shankagosha Samayuktam, Brahma Gosha Samanvitam. Brahma means here Veda, Brahma Gosha. Sarvavadya Samayuktam, Stotra Mangala Vachakaihi. Chhatra, Chamara, Vyajanam, Dvaja, Sarvadeepa Samayuktam, Yantra Deepa Mantare. So there is a Yantra Deepa where a type of contrivances about the yantra, different yantras. I will come to the another agama, the Deepta Agama, where we have the various yantras, that is man-made mechanical contrivance of different shapes, so and different images which are taken around the temple during the procession along with the deity. Then where the acharya, the king, and the others should stand, should position themselves during the utsava. Acharyo dakshine parshve, nripatihi vama parshvake, madhyamam rudrakanyayam, gandharvantu shivagrake. So the main singer, Gandharva, is just before Shiva, and the temple priest, Archaka, the king, etc., and Rudraganika, they are all in different directions. Grama Pradakshinam Kuriyat, then returns to the temple mandapa, then Padya, Agya, Chamana, Dhupa, Deepa, Aratrika, Darpana, Chamara, etc. They are all given to offered to the Shiva and the utsava bearer. Then in that way, this description goes. Now coming to the Sukshma Agama, because there is here we have another type of description, a very elaborate description of mahotsava with various types based on the number of days, and each one is given under a separate name and the various offerings. So that is the speciality of this mahotsava vidhi, patala of the Sukshma Agama, which has 320 shlokas. Yes. One of the striking features in this chapter is it contains a lot of lists for various types of utsava, its varieties, the ingredients, the offerings that are offered. Except for this, there is a long list. The classification of different types of utsava and the parts that constitute each one of them are clearly explained in this Sukshma Agama. The hoisting the flag, Dvaja Rohana. Then there we have Vijaya and Vriddhida type, Vriddhida mode, Vijaya mode. So the earlier passages, they describe what is Vriddhida, what is Vijaya. So if the Vijaya is that type of mode celebrated in so many number of days with so many ingredients. So in that when the Vijaya mode of Mahotsava is celebrated, the Dvajarohana should be done in this way. When the Vriddhida mode is celebrated, the Dvajarohana is done in a slightly different way. And the other parts of the rituals and the ingredients, they also vary according to the mode. So it's a long list. Then what are the various offerings? Similarly, there is as I have at the beginning mentioned, the Dvajarohana, Bheritadana, Vrishayaga, 3 major rituals that form part of the utsava, the beginning of the utsava. And of course, we have the daily Nitya Bali, Balidana, Bali offering, both morning and evening. So these 3, namely the Vrishayaga and Bheritadana, they also vary, and there are different inner variations according to the types. And similarly in the Bali offering also. Then we have similarly there is Raga, the various vadyas, various talas, according to the different modes. Then the celebration of the Rathotsava, which is part of the Parivesha, where a large amount of offerings are given, offered to the decorated image of Shiva in the mandapa, in the major mandapa of the temple, where all people, along with the king and the towns, important people, they are all come together and they offer, along with, as usual, music and dance, etc. So this is the Parivesha. Then the daily procession and yes. Then Padya, Achamana, Arghya, Snanodaka, then different Varanas for the colors of the cloth, the Abharana, then Gandha, different types of Gandha, different types of flowers, Deepa, similarly, different types of Anna, then Paniya, then the Homadravya for the Agnikarya, then Bali offerings, and then musical note, Raga, Tala, and the Bera also. So for different types of Bera, Raga, Tala, etc. all are mentioned here, and the different Vahanas for the image of Shiva. So this is in a brief survey of the Agama-s information about the utsava, etc. Then coming to the Agama. The Agama, there is a long patala dealing with the details of celebration of mahotsava, along with many informations on the Rathotsava, the chariot festival, which forms part of the mahotsava. As part of the preparations for grand festival, Agama states that one should construct the ratha, the main ratha, which is going to be taken around the town during the Rathotsava day. So before the utsava commences, already these are made ready. So every year during the Rathotsava, the ratha is constructed anew. So of course the basis, the ratha pitha is there, but along the upper decorations and the other things, they are all every year it is constructed, and different artificial and huge contrivances. The text names as yantra. So we find many yantras such as dola yantra, that is swing, horse, ashva yantra, simha yantra, hasti yantra, and a temple that is called yantra devalaya. So it may mean a miniature temple or the model of the temple. So if that is constructed, maybe in the wood, in wood, that is not specified, but these are all yantras. So they can be like a mechanically operated, and just as we have just now saw during the Dvajarohana in the Tiruvarur temple. So they pull a huge rope where the Dvaja goes up, and it is called also known as a yantra in the olden days. So like that there are yantras. So naturally these type of lion, horse, elephant yantras, they are all taken around the village. They all accompany the image of the god, Shiva's image, during the procession. So all these are, some of them are taken around one, or some of them on each day. They are taken around the temple. They all accompany the decorated image of Shiva along with music and dance. So this yantra is a very important. So in the ancient times, so we note that mahotsava provides an opportunity for artisans to showcase their skills and incidentally earn their livelihood. So this is one of the opportunities, mahotsava, for the local artists and artisans, where they construct this type of yantras. And similarly, there is a yantra ranga, yes, performing stage for performing arts. So that is also constructed in a miniature form of the such materials. Then pavilions, then bhuta yantra, various bhutas, demons. Then there is rishi yantra, depicting various rishis in a huge way. In this way, these yantras are all made ready just before the commencement of the festival, which naturally will accompany the procession of during the all the 10 days or 21 days. All these should be covered with then multicolored cloths decorated with flowers and should be made beautiful and attractive. So all the details are given in the Agama. So it is still read out a few verses. It will be interesting. Utsavaramba kaletu rathadin karayet kramat yantra dolan dhrudan muktan yantra rangan sataivacha ashvayantran simmayantran hastiyantran sataivacha yantra devalayam Śaiva yantra mandapikanapi bhutayantran rishiyantran deepayantran sataivacha कृत्वा मनोहरान् सर्वान् नानावस्त्रैः विभूषितान् नानावितान् संयुक्तान् नानाध्वज संकुलान् चित्रवस्त्रेण संबद्धान् नानागात्रेण संयुतान् स्वर्णदाम्ना पुष्पदाम्ना मुक्तादाम्ना तु अलङ्कृतम् एतान् सर्वांश्च कृत्वा तु ततः कर्म समारभे. So they are all in this way, they are all and constructed, made ready and made in a decorative and attractive way. So these are the some of the important, I'm only sharing a very little information because of want of time from the major Agamas. Of course, there are other Agama. There is Ajita Agama, the published Ajita Agama reads the mahotsava in a full chapter of more than 350 verses where all the details are given, along with, as usual, the major rituals and processions and music and dance, Rathotsava, etc. Now, this mahotsava, celebration of mahotsava, Tiruvadarai Utsavam, is celebrated in Tiruvarur, was beautifully portrayed, described in 10 verses by Tirunavukarashar in his Thevaram. It is known as Tiruvadarai Adirai Nannal Adirai Utsavam. So there, so how the whatever is, as I have given from the taken from the described from the major Agama-s, almost many of them are found described in the this Tiruvadarai Utsava. In fact, Tirunavukarashar has gone personally to, because during his time the Tiruvadarai Utsavam at Tiruvarur was such a very well-known, popular one. So he has heard about it and he has gone there and personally witnessed the entire celebration for all those days. And then he comes back, because we find this reference in the Shekadar Periya Puranam, where he meets Trinyana Sambandar in another place, I don't remember. There he conveys to Trinyana Sambandar about his experience, how he has witnessed the Tiruvadarai festival in the Tiruvarur. So that is there we have this, all those vitana, decorative vitanas with canopy, big cloth with chamara, etc., porkavari, and bhaktars, devotees, along with women and all, they all follow the bali pinne. Patrahalodu pavayarshooda bali pinne. So the bali image, which I have mentioned, that is taken around, which is bali image is followed by these hundreds of many devotees and young women. And not only that, there are the Mahavratigal, Vittahakola, Vendalai Malai, Viradigal, the Mahavrata Shaivas, wearing the skull garland. They are also in a large group. They also follow the utsava of Attan, Arur, Adarai, Nalal, Aduvannam. So such is a grand spectacle, he says. Aduvannam is Adarai Utsava. Then there are hundreds such devotees who pray out of their extreme devotion. They dance, they cry, And in this way, there is such group of devotees, they also follow. So he describes in a very beautiful way. Maniye, Maniye, Ponne, Mainda, Manala, Yenbarhatku, Aniyan. So they all pray to the Lord, shouting in there with high devotion. Then Vidihal Thorum, the decoration around the town and the houses. Vidihal Thorum, Vengodiyodu, Vidanangal. So in all the streets were decorated with white flags, small flags. Then there are lamps lit in the temple, in the houses. All the houses are decorated with beautiful lamps, and the entire town appears like full of light lamps. And then there are decorative red and pearl ropes hung around the houses. So in this way, then there are other devotees who describe the Shiva's various characteristics, various mahima, various grand acts of Shiva, and among themselves, and with that dance and sing the Shiva's glory. Then they sing in this way, they look as if they are mad. Pinangit Tammir Pittarai Pola Pidatruvar. So they, out of such a devotion, they all sing and dance like mad. And Vanangi Nindra Vanavar Vandu Vaihalum Anangan Arovayad. Even the gods from the heaven, they all come down to witness the Arur Thiruvadarai festival. Then there is Vadyas, Venshangum Parayum Arpa. So everywhere the white conch is blown, then the parai, the bheri, and other various drums are beaten, and giving a huge and loud sound. And in this way, that is celebrated. Another description. And yes, then there is the young women, young girls, along with the men, they all go and around the deity and singing and dancing and speaking about the gods, Shiva's, etc., Shiva's greatness. That way, this then Podigal Pushi Padum Tonda. Probably we can see that it is the Shiva devotees who apply bhasma through on the whole of their body and dance. In that way they are. Or even there are certain dance performances, drama, where they decorate themselves for with the various colored powders and for performing the dramas and other dances. In this way, the Adarai festival in Thiruvarur is so great and a grand spectacle to witness. So I just want to add this description. Tirunavakarashar, we all know he belongs to the 6th and early part of 7th century. So even during his time, the Thiruvarur temple was such a grandeur. The grandeur of Shiva temple, Thiruvarur temple is well known. And in the same, another hymn of the Thevaram, Tirunavakarashar describes with this, this is another information about the various Shaivism, the different sects of Shaivism. Arumanithadam Poonmulai Arambayarudu Arulippadiyar Urimayir Toduvar Uruthira Palganattar Virishadai Viradigal Andanar Shaivar Pashupadar Kapaligal Thiruvinir Poliyum Thiruvarur Ammani. So on the streets of Thiruvarur, there are so many different types of Shaivas. What are they? There are Uruddhira Palganatta, a huge Gana, a group of Shiva devotees, Rudra Palganatta. These Rudra Palganatta, we come across in many of the Chola inscriptions. I think there are group of devotees, and they always sing on the greatness of Shiva, and they are always in a group, Rudra Palganatta. Then Virishadai Viradihat. So Mahavrati or just Vrati, who have long matted hair, very shadai. So they always bear this shadai. Then Andanar, actually Brahmana devotees. Then Shaivar. then Pashupadar, then Kapali, the Kapalikas. So all these types of Shaivas are there on the streets of Tiruvarur during the utsava, and all of them, they all sing and worship the main deity of Tiruvarur, Amman, in their own way. So in this way, this is a very historical information, a valuable historical information, that such types of Shaivas were highly prevalent in the Tamil Nadu, especially South India, during that early 6th, 7th century, during the Tirunavukarashar's period. And they all worshipped Shiva in their own way, as prescribed in their texts, and there were no conflict among themselves. And we have so such is a very, very important one. So these Pashupatas, Kapalikas, Virishadai, Viradigal, and Shaivargal, so they are all were there and in the Tiruvarur. So that is a very important information we can get, historical information. So with this, I conclude with my brief presentation on the Rathotsava, then its various decoration and various parts of various ingredient, paraphernalia that form part of the utsava, mahotsava, as well as the Rathotsava, then various yantras, the contrivances, yantras that form part of the procession. So these details are mainly for the mahotsava and rathotsava, and with music and dance and other processions. I think I have.
Thank you
What I
very
have
much.
wanted to cover, I have presented. Thanks. All.
Thank you very much, Ganesanji. I inquiry for email ID. I think it is for the email ID of INDICA Academy. We will share our email ID with the participant. So there are no further questions on the content of the paper. So